So I hope that you are here because you listened to the first half of my Christmas story and you liked it and you want to hear the second half and find out how Amber and Anthony are going to save Christmas. Also, FYI, Amber is Amber from Nerdy Book Lover and Anthony is my boyfriend. So Amber now has a crush on my boyfriend who is now apparently an elf. So, fun fact. Chapter 6. December 21st, 2014. 34 degrees Celsius. Feels like 39 with the humidity. I swear I can see steam coming off the pavement. We haven't even looked at our Christmas tree, and I feel like everyone feels silly with their decorations up. Looking out the window, I catch someone across the street taking down their inflatable sleigh and reindeer. Someone else is actually unstringing the twinkly lights from their store. We can't have this. Who cares if it's hot? It's still 4 days away from Christmas. If the weather isn't going to act like it, we at least should. I sit down at my computer and open up Facebook. Once it opens, I go to my messages and send one to Anthony. This isn't good. I know, he replies. We have to convince people that they can still have a good Christmas. But how? December 22nd, 36 degrees. It's hot, I'm sweaty, and work is killing me. Anthony is off all by himself, still trying to come up with a plan while I sell books to stupid people. At least they're buying books, that's a start. And at least not all the customers are stupid. My parents leave the store to me after dinner, and I stay till close on my own. I thought that with Christmas being so close it would be busier, even right up until 9 o'clock, but it's really died down. Maybe it's the lack of Christmas spirit. I sigh and make my way over to the computer chair at the cash desk to read my book. I know I should be dusting or something else productive, but I can't help it. I'm just getting into my book when a woman in her 40s comes into the store. Hi, I say with a smile. What can I help you with? I stand up from the chair behind the desk and start to walk over to her. I'm looking for a book for my daughter. For Christmas? I ask. Yes. Oh, good, someone shopping for Christmas. Not that it really matters anyway. I'm about to ask her what she means, hoping her spirit isn't dwindling down like everyone else's, but she keeps talking before I have a chance to get a word in. She told me what it's called, but now I can't remember the name of it. Okay, do you know what genre it is? She shakes her head. All I know is it's a sequel. What age group? Teens, I think. Okay, well, there are a lot of sequels in that age range. Do you know if it's fantasy, or dystopian, or contemporary, or... Honey, I don't even know what any of those mean, she says, cutting me off. Oh, sorry, I laugh. Does it take place in a different world? She shakes her head. I don't know. All right, do you know the author's name? No. I try not to laugh. Oh, okay. Do you know what color it is? No. I don't really know how else to help you then. I'm sorry. I can take you to the teen section and maybe you'll recognize it if you see it. I don't understand why this is so hard. I step back a bit and raise my eyebrows at her. I'm sorry? You work here. You're surrounded by books all the time, so why don't you know the book that I'm looking for? Because you know nothing about it. You have to give me something to go with. I can't just telepathically communicate with your daughter and find out what book she wants for Christmas. Don't you talk to me like that. Don't you talk to me like that. I'm the customer here. Apparently not. What? I take another step back, fuming at this point. You clearly aren't buying anything, so you're not the customer. You can't even give me enough information to even try and find this book. And you're trying to tell me that it's my fault? Why don't you come in prepared next time? I can't believe this. I'm going to Bookstacks to get my Christmas gifts. Tonight? Why do you care? Because it's 8:30 and it closes by 9 and it's like 40 minutes away. I don't care! She turns around and leaves, but not before swinging the door open so hard that the bell practically breaks. A thick, heavy heat floods into the store, and I force the door shut before it has a chance to close on its own. Who does that lady think she is? I stomp back to the cash desk and sit down on the chair so hard that it lowers a little bit. I let out a frustrated squeal as I lift my butt off it and raise the hydraulics. Ugh, stupid customers ruin everything! I can't even concentrate on my book anymore. So I take out my phone and Facebook Anthony. I type hi to him and wait for his reply. I wonder why he's having so much trouble saving Christmas this time around. I mean, I know he told me that Carl's gotten stronger over the years, but what did he do before when it wasn't as bad? Maybe it was just easier to convince people. Maybe it was easier to make people smile and in turn make Carl weaker. But this time around, it's going to take something big to convince the town that we can still have a good Christmas. My phone beeps and I smile when I see his reply. Mind if I pop by the store? This must be so awful for you, I say to Anthony. The shop is closed now, and he stopped by to work out an idea with me. The door's locked and the cash is in the safe, and most of the lights are turned off, but we're just hanging out in the store anyway. It's got a nice atmosphere, especially in the dim lighting. The smell of the books and the colors of all the different spines sort of mixing together in the darkness just gives me the warm fuzzies. I would love this shop so much more if I didn't have to work in it. Like when I was little and I would just hang out and read after school while my parents worked, or when I helped people find books just because I could and I felt proud that I knew of so many. But now it's a job. The magic just sort of got ruined a little bit. But sitting here with Anthony, with no chance of any customers ruining it, it's kind of magical again. If I close my eyes and take in a deep breath, or just look around the room slowly, I can see all the characters and worlds on the shelves. What must be awful, he asks. Well, Christmas is basically your life, right? And it's your job to make sure everyone believes in it. And just seeing everything the way it is now ruined, it must feel awful. Yeah, it does a little bit. Kind of like when someone doesn't understand me when I talk about how much I love a book, like how lost I can get in the story and the magic of the words. Yeah, he smiles, and only now do I realize how close we are to each other. We're both sitting on the ground, leaning against the cash counter, but now that our faces are turned to look at each other, I can't help but notice how close our lips are to touching. Is he going to kiss me? Am I going to kiss an elf in disguise? We could have a water fight. I'm a little startled, and it takes me a second to realize what he's talking about. What? I ask. A water fight, like with super soakers. We could have a big Christmas water gun fight. He stands up and bounces on the balls of his feet, clearly excited. We have to get everything ready tonight. Christmas Eve is less than 2 days away. We have to make signs and announcements. We have to get everyone excited for it. Let them know we can still have fun in this weather. We can use it to our advantage to have the most memorable Christmas ever. I tell my parents that I'm going to my friend Kim's house for a movie night, but of course I'm going to help Anthony set up his water fight plan. We stay up all night, huddled around Anthony's computer in his basement apartment. At least it's cool down here. We take turns sitting in the computer chair and adding things to the ads, and sometimes one of us will fix us each an ice water or a lemonade. By about 2 a.m, we've perfected our signs and banners, and we're ready to post them all around town. We're both too excited to wait until it's light out, and we want them out as soon as possible since the event is tomorrow, so we brave the humid night and do it right away. I carry the posters and slap them on any wooden surface, while Anthony staples them down. We walk quietly and smile at each other as we wander the whole town, plastering our colorful Christmas posters everywhere we can. We're finally finished about 2 hours later, and I'm so tired that I can hardly keep my eyes open. Anthony's place is closer than mine, and my feet hurt so much, so he suggests that I just crash with him. He smiles and says that he'll take the couch. So I text my mom to tell her I fell asleep, and I'm going to spend the rest of the night at Kim's since it's already so late. She doesn't reply, but I know she'll see it in the morning. It's better for her not to freak out when she wakes up to see that I'm not in my bed. I follow Anthony into his basement apartment, and he shows me to his room. I'm self-conscious of my sweat as I lay down on top of the covers on his bed, but I get over it pretty quickly. I'm so tired. "Good night, Amber," Anthony whispers. "Good night, elf in disguise." I hear him chuckle as he gently pulls the door closed. Anthony and I head to the grocery store first thing in the morning to get everything we need for the big day. I can't help but notice people talking about our signs, and I smile as I listen in on some of the conversations. "Did you hear about the Christmas Eve water fight?" one person says. "There's a water fight in the park at noon on Christmas Eve, and you have to wear Christmas colors and Santa hats. There's a barbecue too." "A barbecue? A barbecue on Christmas Eve? Well, I'll be." "I think it's working," I say to Anthony. He just smiles and nods and heads for the frozen section. We grab as many boxes as we can of hamburger patties, and we load up the cart with buns and condiments. We said on the signs that there would be a few water guns available for those who don't already have one, so we make our way to the toy store and pick a few of those up too. "But you have to work with us tomorrow," my mom is saying. "Christmas Eve is one of our busiest days of the year." "But it won't be this year, Mom. Everyone will be at the water fight." "How do you know?" "Have you been around town? Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's going, and I have to be there. I helped plan it and everything. This town really needs something to bring back our Christmas spirit, Mom. It doesn't need the bookshop to be open just one more lousy day before Christmas." "You're working. That's all there is to it." "I'm not." I cross my arms and sit down on the couch. "Stop being like that, Amber. We really need your help." "No, you don't, because no one will be there." There's no one in the store. It's 11 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Eve, and everyone in town is at the park, getting ready for the big water fight. Anthony's setting up the barbecue all by himself, and here I am making sure the cash counter doesn't run away. My mom's dusting books and shelves, and my dad is going through old banking books. "Can we please just go to the water fight?" I ask for a third time. My mom sighs. "Fine, let's close up and we'll all go." Chapter 7. Everyone is at the park. Practically the whole town is gathered in the baseball diamond, sporting their red and green clothes and dollar store Santa hats. I raise my hands to my own Santa hat, just to make sure it's on my head right, and the pom-pom isn't hanging down in a weird spot. I catch sight of Anthony standing on the pitcher's mound, ready to make a fun announcement about the game starting. He waves me over when he spots me, so I jog to meet him on the pile of packed dirt. "Why don't you say something?" he whispers. "They know you." Okay, I guess." He smiles at me, and when he turns his head to look at the crowd, I can see his pointed ears. He's the only one I notice now, wearing an elf hat instead of a Santa hat, and he has it tucked behind his ears so you can see them in all their glory. I raise my hand slowly and touch the tip, and then run my fingers along the soft fabric of his hat. It's legit, I know it. "You can get a better look later on if you want," he whispers. I smile at him and nod, before slowly spinning around 2 times to get a look at all the faces of the people who have shown up. Hi," I say, probably a little too softly. "Hi," I shout this time. Everyone stops chattering and looks at me. "Hi everyone, I'm Amber. My parents own the bookshop, and I work there too. You've probably seen us. I've probably rambled on to you about the best books to get for you or your kids. Anyway, we're all here so that we can have the most memorable Christmas ever. The heat kind of sucks when it's supposed to be snowing right now, but we can make it better. Who else in Ontario can say they've had an outdoor water fight on Christmas Eve? No one. We all get to run around in the sun and get each other soaking wet on Christmas Eve. How cool is that? And just before 1 o'clock, when the water fight is over, Anthony here is going to start up the burgers. We have cheeseburgers, Angus burgers, and veggie burgers. And tonight, after you all go home to be with your families before Santa comes, you can actually say that you had a water fight on Christmas Eve. And tomorrow, if it's too hot in the house to cook a turkey, then get Chinese food. Embrace it. Enjoy your chop suey and chicken balls. Eat those fortune cookies. But whatever you do, have a blast, okay? And don't forget sunscreen. And Merry Christmas! Everyone cheers, and Anthony slaps me on the back. I can't believe I just gave an uplifting speech to my entire town. Before I have a chance to really enjoy it all and reflect on my words, Anthony pulls out his water gun and holds it up high in the air. "There are water buckets on either side of the fence. Refuel whenever necessary. May the driest person win!" And with that, he points his water weapon into the crowd and starts shooting at everyone in his range. Everyone squeals with excitement and starts to run for cover. Some people retaliate and get him right back, soaking his shirt and getting me as well. I scream and run through the crowd of people, trying to think of a good strategy to win this. I want to be the driest person at the end. But it's so hot out. Okay, I want to lose. I want to get soaked. I've been hit so many times that it doesn't make a difference in my clothing anymore. I'm completely soaked through. I still squeal with fun every time I get hit, though. I run for cover behind a big tree and almost bump into Anthony. "You're all wet," he says. "Duh, it's a water fight." He steps in a little closer to me and gently pulls a strand of soaking hair out of my face. I'm out of breath from running and I can't seem to close my mouth. I'm super aware of how he's all wet and super attractive and touching my face, and how I'm standing here out of breath with my mouth open. Our chests are almost touching now, and I start wishing that I had brushed my teeth or something before I came down here. He doesn't seem to care though, because he's still inching his face in closer to mine. This is it. He's gonna kiss me. Something freezing blasts the side of my face, and I scream, putting my hands up to block it. "Someone's attacking me!" I lift my water gun up and aim it at the enemy, but nothing happens when I pull the trigger. No! I'm out! I turn around and boot it to the refueling station, but whoever interrupted our almost kiss is chasing me now and won't stop drilling the water into my back. I make it to the water buckets, but my hands are shaking from the cold water, and I can't get the cap off my water compartment of my gun. I try again and again, and this person just keeps laughing and shooting at me, so I do the only thing a girl like me would think to do. I grab the half-full water bucket and use all my strength to push it over. Just as it starts to teeter over, I recognize the enemy as the rude woman from the bookstore. As if! I smile as I get the big bucket knocked over and all the water rushes out like a waterfall, splashing up her legs and getting her all soaked, shoes and all. She screams and runs away. Ha! Anthony hands out burgers, and people take them with dripping hands and eat them with dripping faces. Everyone is tired, happy, and definitely cooled off. Most people even still have their Santa hats on. I love that everyone is getting back into the swing of things and clearly starting to enjoy what they've been given and make the best out of what they have. So what if it got grossly hot and humid for Christmas? It's still Christmas. We're all still here. My parents take the lead as we walk back to our place, and Anthony and I keep a bit of a slower pace behind them. We stayed behind to clean everything up after everyone went home, so we're basically dried off by now. I hope everyone else is still happy and full of Christmas spirit in their homes. I'm sure they are. As we make it closer to my place, I notice the store across the street has its twinkly lights back up, and the house next to it has the big inflatable display up again too. I smile and stop in front of the ugly green metal door. Thanks for everything, I say. Hey, you helped too. Not really. I just sold books to annoying people while you thought of everything. You helped with the signs. I know I couldn't have made them like that without you. I smile. You're right. And I told you which burgers were the best. That you did. But it worked, right? I ask. He nods. I can feel all the excitement that everyone has. No one cares about the weather like they did earlier. And Carl? Carl's done his worst, but that's all he's got for this Christmas. You probably won't be seeing him again. Not that you saw him to begin with, but you know what I mean. He'll move on to a different town next year, and I'll stop him again. Will I ever see you again? I whisper. Perhaps. But I wouldn't wait around for it. Well, you got to see where I live. Maybe one Christmas I can see where you live. I reach out and touch his ear again, slowly running my index finger along the edge. He bends down a little bit so that I can do it easier. Hey, you're still tall, I whisper. Don't believe everything you see in the movies. He gently grabs my hand and slowly moves it to the corner of where his neck meets his shoulder. He smiles and leans his face into mine, and finally kisses me. I get a shiver up my arms and around my neck, and my ears are cold too. When we pull away, I can't help but notice how rosy his cheeks are. I'm cold all over now, and I look up to see tiny little snowflakes fluttering down to the ground. My teeth start to chatter, and Anthony rubs my arms to warm me up. I know I should go inside and put on some warmer clothes, but I just don't want to. I want to stay out here all night and watch the snow fall. By the time the sun starts to go down, Anthony convinces me to go inside and get some jeans and a winter coat, so I get changed as fast as I can, eager to get back to him. I race down the stairs and open the ugly door to find the sidewalk empty. There aren't even any footsteps in the snow. Did Anthony make me go upstairs so that he could leave? Without even saying goodbye? I feel a little pain in my heart, and I sink down to the ground, sitting on the already frozen concrete. I lean my head back against the brick of the building, but my eye catches on something in front of the bookshop door. I get up and walk over to it, bending down to pick up the elf hat. I hold the soft fabric in my hands, and as I turn it around, I feel something crinkle inside. I reach my hand in and pull out a piece of paper. Thank you for a memorable Christmas Eve. Next year we'll have to plan something in my neck of the woods. I'll Facebook you. Anthony. I didn't know they had Facebook in the North Pole. Well, I guess you learn something new every day. My parents come down to see what I'm doing, and when they see me with the elf hat and the letter, they don't even say a word. They just smile and sit down on the concrete step of the bookshop, my mom on one side and my dad on the other. I put the elf hat on, and we huddle together in the cold, watching the snowfall. The twinkly lights around the windows come on behind us, and I can feel the warmth of the store on my back. So we had a complaint about you, my dad says with a hint of fun in his voice. Oh, that crazy lady? She doesn't know what she's talking about. Don't call people crazy on Christmas Eve, hun, my mom says, nudging me in the arm. But she was! She expected me to know what book her daughter wanted, but she couldn't tell me anything about it. I swear I tried to help her, but she wouldn't give me anything to go on. It's okay, I saw you get her good at the park today. My dad laughs and nudges me in the arm, too. Did you see her chasing me? I told you she was crazy. The three of us laugh and huddle in a little closer to each other. The snow continues to fall around us in big, fluffy flakes, and we watch it drift to the ground and pile higher on the sidewalk. We watch our breath in front of our faces, and we watch the stars come out. And we watch as something bright seems to fly across the sky. I really do think this has been the most memorable Christmas. Except until maybe next year.